Welcome back to Free Games and Host Freak. So we playing BlazBlue, continuous ship. I'm not so much of a big BlazBlue. I mean, not really. I am a huge BlazBlue fan. Actually, like the story, like the gameplay, but I'm not big of a fighter game. Obviously, you can tell by the name of this channel and by everything. So we gonna get into it. We gonna oops. Talk too much. So we're going. I play the game for the story. I like the story of BlazBlue. I think it's a good story. So that's what
In
we're
the
gonna do.
dim, shadowy reaches of the past, there was a creature known as the Black Beast.
So we're gonna play the story.
Possessing powers beyond the comprehension of mankind, its only desire was the total annihilation of all humanity. Fighting a hopeless battle for survival, mankind was pushed to the brink of extinction. Just as all hope was about to be lost, 6 heroes appeared.
6 heroes.
They taught the last vestiges of humanity how to harness and control the mystic force of the universe, known as magic. And humans fused it with science, creating what was to become known as Ars Magus. The humans who had the ability to use Ars Magus stood beside the 6 heroes and against the Black Beast. After a series of brutal battles, mankind finally stood victorious.
Alright.
Amongst the survivors, the war came to be known as the First War of Ars Magus, and the 6 brave warriors went down in history as the 6 heroes.
I mean, yeah, you figure they will be known as heroes.
After the defeat of the Black Beast, the people rejoiced. But peace did not last for long. From the remains of the Black Beast, a dark mist began to spread outward. In seemingly no time at all, the black mist covered virtually the entire planet. The mist, which became known as Seeker, wreaked havoc on mankind, as prolonged exposure had detrimental effects on the human body. In order to limit their exposure to this deadly poison, humans were forced to construct cities atop towering mountains. These cities became known as hierarchical cities.
Alright.
At the same time, the organization known as the Novus Orbis Librarium was formed for the purpose of managing and controlling the objects known as grimoires, which are required to use Ars Magus. Inevitably, the NOL began to leverage the power accorded to them by their control of these grimoires, and most of the world fell under their jurisdiction.
Wow, that was
With almost half the world's population decimated by the war against the Black Beast, the remaining survivors began to quickly rebuild their civilization under the watchful eyes of the Novus Orbis Librarium.
It seems like a lot is going down with the Black Beasts. It seems like these Black Beasts are... Why they gotta be black, though? But it seems like a lot of these Black Beasts are the ones that's like destroying kind, and they're trying their best to prepare and whatnot.
Decades passed since the founding of the Novus Orbis Librarium. Within that time, Ars Magus had become an indispensable part of people's lives. However, the use of Ars Magus came with a price, the effects of which depended solely upon the person wielding it.
Wow, it's really...
The NOL, having gathered all those who showed a high aptitude for using Ars Magus, were soon accused by the general populace of propagating repression and inequality. Before long, a region under the NOL's control rose in rebellion, calling themselves the Ikaruga Federation. This declaration of autonomy did not sit well with the Novus Orbis Librarium, and the Second War of Ars Magus began.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Sorry, my bad, y'all. I hit the L button.
For the first time in recorded history, humans used Ars Magus against each other as a weapon in battle. Overwhelmed, the Ikaruga Federation quickly fell.
fell.
The victory served to reinforce the NOL's dominance and power over the world. The absolute destruction of the Ikaruga Federation served as a stark reminder to anyone who even contemplated defying the will of the Novus Orvis librarian.
Oh, so they burned the librarian down.
A few years later, someone dared to defy the Novus Orvis librarian and rose up to take on the organization whose political and military dominance were seemingly absolute.
If you're a BlazBlue fan and you don't know who this character is, shame on you.
Even with an army said to rival any nation, the NOL was powerless to stop this one man from destroying the cauldron that lies deep within NOL stronghold. The man in question was called Ragnar the Blood.
Okay.
It was not long before the NOL declared Ragnar the Blood as an SS class criminal.
Oh, look at that face! Look how they just roasted my man Ragnar. God dog! Like, y'all see how this man look right now? Like, he's like, ooh! Look, he look like he roasting himself. Like, ooh, that's so bad.
With the largest bounty in recorded history put on his head, and wanted posters with his face plastered on every available surface, Ragnar had become the target of a wide variety of different organizations.
They just roasted his face. Like, they did not care. They did not want this man. They obviously do not if they roasted him like this.
The most significant of these were the librarian's guard, bounty hunters, known as vigilantes, and Sector 7, who was known for its advanced scientific research and breakthroughs.
Okay, so they introduced characters. Alright.
In addition to these organizations were other individuals who either coveted Ragnar's power or sat silently in the shadows. The world was slowly being transformed by the actions of one rebel.
They're introducing characters. This is a fighting game. Alright. Hopefully I know what I'm doing.
2199 AD.
I say gear. I know what AD is. It's like where Jesus was born. Jesus lived that long? Alright.
Ragnar arrived at the NOL headquarters of Kagutsuchi, the 13th hierarchical city. However, several of Ragnar's enemies were already there, waiting for him.
Alright.
NOL 4th Thaumaturgist Squadron Commander Major Jin Kisaragi.
Oh.
One of the 6 heroes, Hakumen. The silver-haired girl, New 13.
13. See, you can hit 13 from high. Well,
just as Ragnar thought he had finished what he'd set out to do, he was dragged into the cauldron along with New 13. As he was plummeting to his doom, Ragnar heard a girl's voice calling to him. With the last of his strength, he reached out his hand. Thanks to her actions, Ragnar's life was spared. The girl's name was Noelle Vermilion.
Noelle, fine too. No, I'm not big on these waifu things. I just, like...
It was the dawn of a new era of mankind.
I just point them out, like, I know what y'all thinking. So, I just point it out for y'all.
Out in the streets,
it's my channel,
people were joyously celebrating the start of a new year. However, Ragnar ignored the celebrations, intent on more important matters.
Hey, do what you gotta do, man.
The destruction of his new arch-nemesis.
Who's this dude?
I'm pleased you could make it to this meeting, Rachel Alucard.
What is Rachel? Like, why does she look so young for some reason?
I suppose long time no see would be the appropriate response.
In your subjective time, it has been 19,792 hours, 41 minutes, 52 seconds.
God, dog. Girl, you old. You is old.
Correct. For us, it has been 283,875 hours, 18 minutes, 24 seconds.
You shouldn't be looking this young.
The difference between our subjective times is irrelevant.
How much of a discrepancy is there right now?
The discrepancy is y'all old. That's what.
There is an observed 1 in 940,000 deviation from the predicted number.
Oh, interesting. You're saying almost nothing has changed?
Rachel Alucard, I think it is safe to say that there has been no change whatsoever. Even your hair remains unchanged.
So, nothing has changed. Although the word miracle is not exactly in our vocabulary, wouldn't you agree that your existence itself is a miracle of sorts?
The fact that you are still a little girl.
Correct. We have, however, observed a rather intriguing change in the behavior of a certain mind.
Have you summoned me here simply to tell me that?
Why did you lift Restriction 0, Rachel Alucard?
We wish to know what you are trying to do with the Tsukuyomi unit.
TB and TC.
Whatever my intentions for the Tsukuyomi unit, they have nothing to do with you.
Incorrect. Your actions in regard to the Tsukuyomi unit will impact our goals. We are currently re-evaluating the man's worth.
Indeed. Your actions do not seem to be entirely logical or even completely rational. Ragnar the Blood Edge may be the origin, but he isn't where we should be focusing at this point.
We cannot understand what makes Ragnar the Blood Edge so valuable, Rachel Alucard. I assume you are well aware of the value and significance of the Tsukuyomi unit?
Correct. It is impossible that Ragnar the Blood Edge has greater value than the Susanoo unit. This is our conclusion.
Why you talking about my man Ragnar? Like, what
I
did
do
she
not
do?
think his value is something you will ever understand.
What is his value? That's something. Then tell us, like, what value does he have for you? Or you just get him up?
We do not wish to meddle in your affairs, that much we will admit. That is why we accept the phenomenon that has occurred.
So yeah, so he was just a handsome dude to you.
Affirmative. We will accept and then select appropriately.
Select? So you fancy yourselves gods now?
Yeah.
Negative. Takamagahara is a system built by humans. Anything which has been built by humans can never be designated as a god.
That's
Furthermore,
true.
once a god has been observed, it can no longer continue to exist as a god and becomes nothing more than a thing.
Really? I don't think that's how God just work. But what the heck do I know?
Affirmative. The master unit is no exception.
And of course,
Is
the
that Noel?
successor to the Azure, Noel Vermilion, is also governed by this rule.
Okay.
Which is why, Rachel Alucard,
We
Is
would
it-
like to ask if you wish to become an observer of the boundary once again.
Are these chairs? These are chairs. These are shell chairs. Who taking up humans people?
Although
human
I
life.
very much enjoy keeping dogs as pets, my desires are not so twisted that I wish to become a lapdog myself.
Or is it because of the fact that they're chairs? They're definitely chairs, or was the people just too lazy to draw them? So they just drew shadows of them, so they won't look any different.
Rachel Alucard, the outer perimeter is much closer to Takamagahara than you think.
Before you abandon the duties you have already accepted, please
Really?
consider the amount of time that has already been invested in this endeavor.
Oh? I'm afraid I don't recall the...
Your response has been recorded and analyzed. We take it your answer is no.
Yes.
How unfortunate. I had hoped things were going to be getting a little more enjoyable here again. Still, we had predicted that this would be the choice you would make.
We have already begun observation of the snake.
Then you were responsible for Terramy's release.
Affirmative. We expect significant risk in initializing the destruction process.
He is really something of a maverick. Even we cannot govern him at times.
As such, we have prepared an exit strategy.
So you mean tell me you let a man go and y'all can't control him?
An exit strategy? Dare I ask what that might be?
Negative. We are unable to provide an answer to that query. Doing so would constitute unintended intervention.
Then you truly intend to reduce the world to nothing?
Nothing? Oh, don't be foolish. That would be pointless.
The world Takamagahara creates simply needs to be correct. In such a world, there would be no need for the master unit. It would only cause distortion.
Affirmative. Distortions caused by the master unit are currently being considered along with other possible outcomes as a...
The phenomena intervention of the master unit cannot be measured. As such, we spend too much time repairing its mistakes.
Affirmative. Takamagahara will initiate reconstruction without the intervention of the master unit.
Once again, the world will be back in the Azure.
Affirmative. The Azure will inherit the Takamagahara.
Yeah, do they not just draw them and we only see them as shadows?
So long as the Azure exists, the world will exist as well, no matter what form it may take.
Alright.
All forms of life return to the world of the Azure.
Okay. Blind to the story. Oh, wow. Okay. Whatever. Wow. I wonder, should I end it here? I'm thinking about ending it here. Before we get into the story. 16 minutes in. Whatever. Actually, you know what? I am going to here. Sorry, y'all. Or I cannot do that. Oh, I can't. Yeah, you know, I am going to here. Sorry, y'all. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. Subscribe if you guys are new. Because, you know, after this, I think I may just separate each storyline or something like that. Maybe go like that. I have no idea. We kind of just did the tutorial so far. We didn't even do no fighting for real. But we 17 minutes in, so you know, this is going to be one of my shortest videos ever. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, comment down below, share it with your friends, family, and all like that. So it's just a PG Gaming, y'all be easy.